Part 16. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 154. Boy, even if you are in the Unity realm, in our Hunchin demon sect, you will not be able to act arrogantly. Today, I, Nai Fenjiun, will fight to the death with you. Seeing the tragic death of the great elder, the head of the Hunchin sect, Nai Fenjiun, was so dizzy. For him, today is also a day of ups and downs. Lu Ruyan advanced to the Unity realm, and he also said that the Hunchin demon sect has 3 Unity realms. The heaven-defying powerhouse's voice in this area will be improved. Immediately afterwards, the saint disappeared and the green-blooded saint arrived. His dream was shattered as soon as he started to dream it. Especially later, he discovered that Lu Ruyan actually had such a powerful bloodline power, which made him regret it. Now it's better, a ruthless man suddenly appeared and destroyed another Unity realm. And the saint girl was also robbed by him. In other words, the source of all chaos is this guy named Qin Changsheng. How could Nai Fenjiun not be angry? A simple knife-shaped rune appeared between Nai Fenjiun's eyebrows. At the same time, the Taoist rhyme circulated between heaven and earth, and an 8-star linlong appeared behind Nai Fenjiun. The innate magic sword hegemony and the bloodline of the 8-star Lindra were stimulated by him at the same time. He stretched out his hand and swallowed the raging, the crimson magic knife with evil energy appeared in Nai Fenjiun's hand. The moment he stretched out his hand to hold the magic knife, the knife-shaped attachment between his eyebrows suddenly lit up. A sword energy that tore the world apart seemed to come from like bursting out from the void. It appeared in mid-air in an instant. It was hundreds of feet in size. Dao patterns were flowing on it, and the demonic energy was steaming. Suddenly, the entire disciples of the Hunchin demon sect felt that their souls were being absorbed. The feeling of sucking. Nai Fenjiun's innate magic sword body, combined with the skills he cultivated, and the 3-star Suanji long sword in his hand. After the constitution, skills, and Xian weapons, the 3 of them strengthened each other. It was really too strong. Well, coupled with his cultivation of the 3rd level of the Unity realm, Nai Fenjiun was like a world-destroying demon at this moment, standing between heaven and earth, slashing at Qin Changsheng with one sword. Shishi, shishi. When the magic knife passed by, the whole world was torn apart, leaving a huge space crack that could not be closed for a long time. Be careful, this old man's skills, weapons, and physique all complement each other, making him very powerful. Mid-air, Lu Ruyan couldn't help but remind her. She was also shocked by Qin Changsheng just now, as if she was in a dream. Now she saw this shocking sword light, and she suddenly realized. Yan'er, don't panic, trust your man. Qin Changsheng didn't take it seriously, and actually had the mood to tease Lu Ruyan. Everyone around him was confused and jealous. But when Lu Ruyan heard Qin Changsheng's name, he couldn't help but laugh at him. One glance. How long has it been? Do you still have fun? But the next moment, everyone will know why Qin Changsheng is so calm and composed. Only Qin Changsheng's eyebrows are shining with golden light. After a moment, a simple sword-shaped rune actually appeared. And with the appearance of his rune, on the Dao realm barrier around him, the Dao patterns merged together and turned into a handle. Dao pattern long sword with handle. Qin Changsheng's domain has become an extremely unique sword domain. Ding! The 3rd piano sound sounded. It was as if something had been ignited. The long swords with Dao patterns on the sword realm suddenly brightened up. Then, all the Dao pattern long swords bloomed with a ray of sword light, condensing in front of Qin Changsheng. Buzz buzz. The sword light with thousands of feet of Dao pattern slashed out. There was no tearing of heaven and earth, and there was no fluctuation of spiritual energy. But at that moment, what everyone heard was the sound of swords, which turned into the sound of the avenue. Boom! The Dao pattern sword light collided with Nai Fenjiun's magic sword light. The magic sword light that tore the world apart seemed to be made of paper and was completely shattered. Puff. Innate sword domain hegemony. How is it possible that you have an innate sword domain hegemony? The moment the demon sword saber was defeated, Nifenjiun, the leader of the Hunshan sect, spit out a mouthful of black blood due to the backlash. However, he had no intention of caring about his own backlash and stared at Qin Changshen's eyes. The Dao pattern sword light seemed to be like seeing a ghost. Innate sword domain hegemony. Oh my god, this is the most powerful hegemonic body in swordsmanship. What, is this hegemonic body very strong? Isn't the sect leader's demon sword hegemony also a sword cultivator's unique hegemony? That's not a level at all. There are many unique overlord bodies for sword cultivators. Just practice sword fighting skills and get twice the result with half the effort. There is only one that is truly the strongest, the innate sword domain overlord body. Innate sword domain hegemonic body? That Qin Changshen's name is Xiantian sword domain hegemony, no wonder. That's right, haven't you noticed that when the sect leader's hegemonic body is activated, his Dao realm barrier does not change at all? But when Qin Changshen's domineering body was activated, his Tao realm enchantments had turned into sword realm enchantments. In this enchantment, sword and combat skills would be enhanced several times. No, this guy, where did this monster come from? Everyone watching the battle was excited again. And in mid-air, Lu Ruyan's beautiful eyes were widened at this time. This stinky man, is actually so strong? She was really shocked. Thinking back to the first time we met yesterday, I actually thought he was in the Qi realm, and wanted to rob his bird. And this guy is also very bad. He can obviously defeat himself easily, but he pretends to be weak. He looked pitiful, and was robbed by himself and turned into a little follower. The worst thing is, it was this guy who robbed Saint Emo Ran. What on earth was he going to do? He knew that he didn't want to do this the saints. Thinking of this, Lu Ruyan couldn't help but glance at Emo Ran, who was standing next to Qin Changshen. This saint, who always has her eyes higher than her head and looks at people with her chin, was also surprised today. Be honest. After being released by Qin Changshen, he didn't say anything, just watched quietly. Lu Ruyan wanted to know how that bad man subdued this proud princess. Could it be that he was the same as yesterday? But how did she know? At this time, Amo Ran was also shocked and stunned. Although in Linglong Immortal Mansion, she already knew that Qin Changshen's realm was the Unity realm. But, it's not that he just broke through to the Unity realm. In just a few days? Then he should be a genius at the first level of the Unity realm, right? But the combat power this guy showed, how could he possibly be the first level of the Unity realm? The great elder who was at the first level just now was touched by him. He plucked the strings with his fingers and they were destroyed. The leader of the third heaven of the Unity realm, was beaten to the point of vomiting blood with one of his moves. Apart from the shock, this Emo Ran was still a little frightened. Fortunately, the bad guy didn't treat himself like this yesterday. Otherwise, with his own strength, I'm afraid it's just a matter of plucking the strings. For the first time, this holy maiden of Hunshan, who is extremely proud in her bones, has a crush on a man. The feeling of fear. She had never felt this kind of feeling even when she was facing the Hunshan sect master. Because she firmly believed that her qualifications would definitely be better than the Hunshan sect master's age when he was that age. After all, Hunshan sect master, the Holy Lord has been cultivating for more than 100 years. But this bad guy is only 19 years old. He can easily crush the master of the Hunshan sect now, more than 100 years later. How terrifying will he be? Realm. Yunhai realm king level? Far more than that. Above Yunhai realm, Xingzhang realm king level? I'm afraid I can't stop it. After that, it will be the legendary Tongtian realm, the martial arts emperor. That is an existence that can wipe out the stars and traverse time and space with just one thought. The fifth update has arrived, please customize it, order it in full, and ask for all data support. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 155. The expressions of everyone around him were distorted in shock, and their minds were filled with questions. However, Qin Changshen was not so kind and went to answer everyone's questions. He didn't even bother to talk nonsense with Nai Fenjian, the leader of the Hunshan sect, and just played the piano again. Ding! With the appearance of this piano sound, on Qin Changshen's sword domain barrier, millions of Dao pattern swords flickered again. Click, click, click. Under the soaring sword intent, countless people's weapons were shattered by the sword intent. The sword, the aura of the king of hundreds of weapons, dominated the entire world at this moment. Buzz buzz. Puff puff. The sound of the avenue made up of sword sounds seemed to pierce everyone's bodies in an instant, stirring everyone's soul. Although many people had gathered their true energy to resist, they were still shocked by the sound of the sword and vomited blood. Ah! Nai Fenjian, the leader of the Hunshan sect, suddenly shouted loudly. Then everyone discovered that they and others were vomiting blood like this, and they were just affected. The center of gravity of this Jianming Dao is Nai Fenjian, the leader of the Hunshan sect. It was obviously just bursts of invisible sword sounds. But at this time, Nai Fenjian seemed to have been torn apart by the dense sword energy. There were small cuts all over his body, and blood flowed out, turning him into a bloody man. The most important thing is, his eyes are red, and spiritual light is surging from the Lingtai Zi mansion. Obviously, the sound of the sword mainly affected his Zifu soul. Everyone was dumbfounded. Someone just said that the sword domain hegemony is very strong, very strong. But this is too strong. The sound of the sword's roar is not a real attack at all, it is just Qin Changshen mobilizing the power of the sword domain. The sect leader was now in such a miserable state. When the real attack comes, how can I resist it? Boy, you are strong. But I can feel that you are only in the third level of the Unity realm. If I were outside, I would die today. But don't forget, this is my Hunshan demon sect. Nai Fenjian, who was covered in blood, suddenly said something angrily. The next moment, his body's blood was completely stimulated again. At the same time, a golden token appeared in his hand. Pot, pot, pot. With the appearance of the golden token, the entire mountain protecting formation barrier of the Hunshan demon sect seemed to be suddenly lit. As the mountain protecting formation barrier lit up, the thousands of peaks in the Hunshan demon sect were all lit up. The two huge mountain ranges formed were trembling one after another, just like two giant dragons that had been dormant for a long time, awakened under Nai Fenjian's guidance. It's the power of the mountain protecting formation. The sect leader borrowed the power of the mountain protecting formation. We have long heard that our Hunshan demon sect's mountain protecting formation is integrated with offense and defense, but no one has used it for a long time. I didn't expect that today, because of that Qin Changshen, the sect leader was forced to do this. Now I can feel at ease, our mountain protection formation is closely related to the two mountain ranges. Although these two mountain ranges are not spiritual veins, they also have huge spiritual energy reserves. If fully mobilized, the sect leader's cultivation will increase the combat power of one or even two heavens. All I can say is that that ruthless man was really too arrogant. He actually ran directly into our Hunshan demon sect and wanted to rob him, otherwise, the sect leader wouldn't be able to do anything to him outside. The surrounding disciples of the Hunshan demon sect were talking a lot, and one by one they saw the hope of victory. And during this period of time, the thousands of peaks in the entire Hunshan demon sect were already lit up one by one like beacon towers. The beginning and the end. Connected and turned into two giant dragon phantoms. Go to hell. With a roar, Nifenjiun slashed out with the magic knife in his hand. Under this sword, the color of the world changed. The 8-star Linlong shadow behind him looked up to the sky and roared, dancing out with the long knife. But that's not all yet. On the ground, the phantoms of two giant dragons also roared into the sky and turned into the light of Nifenjiun's magic sword. With the blessing of 3 dragon soul shadows, suddenly, everyone felt that the end of the world was coming. The sky will collapse and everything will cease to exist. Boom, boom, boom. The magic sword that carried the phantom shadows of 3 giant dragons was filled with thunderous sounds wherever it passed, and the space collapsed one by one. Qin Changshen's whole person was enveloped by the light of the sword. Careful! Careful! 2 voices actually sounded at the same time. The first one came from Lu Ruyan. Although everyone still couldn't accept it, they thought it was normal. After all, this Lu Ruyan, even before she found out that Qin Changshen was in the Unity Realm, was very protective of him, and even gave her body to him, showing normal concern. But the second voice isn't normal. It actually came from the mouth of Mo Ran, the Saint of Hunshan. Wasn't Saint of Hunshan kidnapped? Why are you suddenly worried about this guy? At this time, Mo Ran covered his red lips with his bare hands, and his whole body was stunned on the spot. She didn't know how she could subconsciously want to remind this guy. Obviously, I was snatched away by this bad guy and forced to become his so-called little maid. Although this guy has really never forced himself on anything from beginning to end, and he has also provided various resources for him to practice. But don't let yourself change so quickly. How long has it been? Where has the innate pride in my bones gone? If there was a psychiatrist, he would definitely tell her. Silly boy, do you know that the more arrogant a princess is, the easier it is to be conquered? It's just that it has always been difficult for the proud princess to meet the person who can completely conquer her. Once he meets the proud princess, he will never be able to run away again. It's a pity. In this world, there is no psychiatrist, so Mo Ran can only be messy and have random thoughts. What she doesn't know is, the more she thinks wildly, the faster she will fall. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 156. Do not worry. As your man, I am absolutely tough and strong enough. Facing the reminders from Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran, Qin Changshen waved his hands and said as if nothing was wrong. The fact that Mo Ran would worry about him, made Qin Changshen very unexpected. But in his heart, Qin Changshen was still happy. After all, this super invincible long-legged princess is an extremely proud princess. It is quite a sense of accomplishment for her to have her heart fluctuate. Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran heard Qin Changshen's words in one sentence, the reaction was completely different. Regarding the 2 adjectives after Qin Changshen, Lu Ruyan's first thought was to secretly whisper rascal, and he couldn't help but think of the scene of the 2 of them together before. But soon I found something wrong again. What does it mean to be a man for you? What did this stinky man do with Mo Ran, the Saint of Hunshan? Mo Ran, on his side, was originally in confusion. After hearing Qin Changshen's words, I was stunned for a moment. What do you mean by our man? I don't know what you and Lu Ruyan have done. But, we don't have anything, right? Didn't we just agree to be the maids? Now, Mo Ran, the proud long-legged princess, was even more confused. She kept thinking about what she would do if this guy really wanted to change her relationship with her. As for the other members of the Hunshan demon sect, listen. When I heard Qin Changshen's words, I was filled with envy, jealousy, hatred, and was speechless to the point of explosion. 2 generations of saints from our Hunchin demon sect were actually harmed by this guy. However, we don't care about this now. At that time, in mid-air, the magic sword light carrying the phantom shadows of 3 giant dragons had swept over. Wherever it passed, the world collapsed, and pieces of space cracks did not close up for a long time. Seeing, the surging sword light, has completely enveloped Qin Changsheng. Qin Changsheng finally moved. I saw blood all over his body. Pieces of green lotus appeared out of thin air. Then, a dragon roar shook the world. Came. Roar. When I first heard this voice, everyone thought that this was coming from the phantoms of Nifenjian's 3 giant dragons. But soon everyone discovered that they were wrong. Around Qin Changsheng, the green lotus blossoms bloomed one by one and turned into pieces of dragon scales. A proud green dragon with a height of several thousand feet appeared between the heaven and the earth. The huge dragon head was like a hill, with 2 dragon eyes shining with golden light, one containing the shape of a big sun, and the other containing the shape of a full moon. State. Woo woo woo. With the appearance of this proud blue dragon, the 3 giant dragons encircled by the light of Nifenjian's demonic sword actually let out whimpering sounds. Then, the 3 giant dragons broke away from the magic sword and crawled in front of the proud green dragon. They buried their heads on the ground one by one, as if they were kneeling in worship. Oh my God, what is going on? The power of blood, that guy's power of blood, turned out to be the power of the blood of the holy beast Azure Dragon. As soon as the proud blue dragon appeared, no matter it was the 8-star Linlong bloodline of the sect leader or the earth dragons of the 2 mountain ranges, they all did not dare to disobey and had no choice but to surrender. No, they are all from the dragon clan. Why are they so different? Are they all from the dragon clan? You are thinking too much. Whether it is the 8-star Linlong of the sect leader or the giant dragons of the 2 days of the mountains, they can only be regarded as branches and collaterals of the dragon clan, and you don't even know how many branches they have been divided into. And the holy beast Qinglong is a true direct descendant of the dragon clan. I'm really crazy. With his innate sword-dominating body and the power of the holy beast Qinglong bloodline, is this guy going to be so defiant? No wonder he was able to reach the state of unity at the age of 19. But why would such a talented person come to our Hunchin demon sect? The people of the Hunchin demon sect were shocked and breathless for who knows how many times. They had thought that Qin Changsheng should also have blood. But they did not expect that this guy's blood was actually that of the saint. The bloodline of the beast Azure Dragon, it's so rare that 2 such incredible physiques and bloodlines appear in the same person. No. Impossible. In mid-air, Nifenjian, the leader of the Hunchin sect, seemed to have seen a ghost. He has always been quite confident in the power of his bloodline. Coupled with the entire Hunchin demon sect's mountain protecting formation, he captured 2 mountain dragons, allowing him to soar in combat power. Who would have thought? None of his attacks fell on them, and they just inspired a bloodline power to completely collapse all their attacks. The bloodline of the holy beast Blue Dragon. How could this guy have the bloodline of the holy beast Blue Dragon? I don't think it's possible either. You said it's not good to activate any bloodline, but you have to activate a Linlong bloodline. Linlong, can that be considered a dragon? Qin Changshen's long voice echoed in the Hunchin demon sect. Everyone wants to die. Linlong, is it not a dragon? If it were anyone else, whoever said this would probably be scolded to death. But unfortunately, this guy is qualified to say this, because in front of his holy beast Qinglong, these miscellaneous dragons really can't be regarded as dragons. Puff. Nifenjian, the leader of the Hunchin sect, spurted out a mouthful of old blood without suppressing it. He had been hit hard just now, and when he heard Qin Changshen's words, he was even more shocked. How has my 8-star Linlong bloodline ever suffered such humiliation? In the eyes of this guy, he is not even considered a dragon. Pa, pa, pa. Awesome, really awesome. This brother's name is Qin Changsheng, right? Brother Changsheng, please allow me to take this trip. It's really worth it. With the hegemonic body of the innate sword domain and the bloodline of the holy beast Qinglong, he can crush the entire Hunshan demon sect with his own power. Brother Changsheng is truly a unique person that I have never seen in my life. I watched this battle and couldn't help but click my tongue. I am willing to put an end to the previous grievances with Brother Changsheng. I just want to make Brother Changsheng a friend. The holy son of green blood suddenly clapped his hands and said in applause at this moment. Everyone in the Hunshan demon sect was dumbfounded when they heard the words of the holy son of blue blood. This guy is so good at following the wind. Puff. Nai Fenjiun, the leader of the Hunshan sect, was so angry that he vomited blood again. I have been struggling for a long time, isn't it because I want to marry and make friends with the blue blood demon sect? How did it end? He suffered heavy losses. The two saints were harmed, the great elder died, and he was suppressed and unable to resist. Even if the holy son of blue blood doesn't help, he still wants to make friends with him. When you do this, have you ever thought about how aggrieved and miserable our Hunshan demon sect feels? But, what no one expected even more was what Qin Changsheng said next. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 157. Make friends. How can I have time to make such bullshit friends? I'm here to rob, do you understand? The Jade Blood Demon sect, right? Don't panic, just wait in line. After I collect the loot here, I will rob your blue blood demon sect. As soon as Qin Changsheng said these words, the smile on the face of the holy son of blue blood, who had been smiling just now, instantly froze. Everyone in the Hunshan demon sect was also shocked. This guy actually wanted to go. Robbery, Jade Blood Demon sect? You are a strong man in the Unity realm, why are you so keen on robbing? In addition, don't you know what realm the master of the Jade Blood Demon sect is? Qin Changsheng, do you still want to take advantage of my blue blood demon sect? The holy son of blue blood said with an increasingly cold face. Of course he didn't really want to make friends with Qin Changsheng when he said those words just now. It's just that this guy's physique and bloodline are really a bit too outrageous, which made him do some other things. Thoughts? Because among the skills of the blue blood demon sect, there is a magic skill that can absorb the constitution and blood of other people. However, that magic skill requires the help of many people to perform it, and it can only be used once in a lifetime. I have no constitution. Is what the holy son of blue blood has always been most worried about, but it is impossible to just find a cauldron and absorb the physique and bloodline. And the appearance of Qin Changsheng gave him hope. If he can fool this guy, he went to the blue blood demon sect and absorbed his innate sword domain hegemony and the holy beast Qinglong bloodline. Not only could he obtain the strongest swordsmanship hegemony, but he could also improve his king-level bloodline. What a blessing! But unexpectedly. This guy is so ignorant, he doesn't give himself any face, and even makes arrogant words to rob the blue blood demon sect. Didn't you listen to them? My biggest hobby is to rob saints and loot sects. By the way, does your blue blood demon sect have a saint? If it's someone who has been harmed by you, forget it, I despise it. Qin Changsheng still said calmly, and even asked if there was a saint in the blue blood demon sect, so that everyone around him should not be too confused. This guy is really so arrogant. Good, very good, I want to see how you go about robbing my blue blood demon sect. When the holy son of blue blood heard this, he was already so angry that he sneered. Have a look. Do you think you'll get a chance to see it? Qin Changsheng said, and the strings in his hand fluctuated. Ding. Millions of sword-shaped chi, like a goddess scattering flowers, shot towards the holy son of blue blood. Everyone around them almost choked to death on the spot. This guy actually wanted to kill the holy son of blue blood. And he did it as soon as he said it. This is really because he didn't take the blue blood demon sect seriously. You, how dare you attack me? The holy son of blue blood also looked horrified. I didn't expect this guy to be so simple and crude. With a thought, the blue heart demon king bloodline of the holy son of blue blood was instantly inspired by him. Bang, bang. A strange heartbeat suddenly sounded in everyone's ears. I saw a huge blue heart appearing out of thin air in mid-air, as big as a mountain peak. Every beat was like a heavy hammer beating a drum, shaking everyone's hearts. And with each beating, the surrounding spiritual energy of heaven and earth condensed rapidly, and the blue heart began to grow blood vessels, meridians, and then bones, flesh and blood. Not long after, the figure of a demon king who was thousands of feet tall appears in the sky, and the demonic energy surging around the body is the pattern of the great avenue of heaven and earth. With the appearance of this figure, the monks in the Unity realm felt as if they were unsteady and wanted to prostrate themselves on the ground and worship. Yunhai realm, king level, king of the avenue. This is the king level, the unique power of a king. When everyone is still heart palpitating. A blue spear appeared in the hands of the holy son of blue blood. The true energy is stimulated, and the spear blooms with 100-foot spear light. Then a strange scene appeared. This 100-foot-long spear was actually held in the hand of the king-level demon god, as if it had turned into a real weapon and spear. Ding ding ding. As the spear swung, it blocked all the millions of sword lights with patterns. Everyone was dumbfounded by this battle. Although they had known for a long time that the bloodline of the holy son of blue blood was powerful, when they saw it today, they found that this king-level bloodline was stronger than they imagined. After all, the Holy Lord Hunshin of the third level of the Unity realm, borrowing the power of the Hunshin demon sect's mountain protecting formation, is not the enemy of the god-killing Unity. And this jade blood holy son blocked it? But the next moment, everyone realized that they were wrong. I saw that the millions of spirit pattern sword lights, after being knocked away, did not directly collapse. He just changed the direction and continued to bombard the holy son of blue blood. Ding ding ding. The sound of the clashing of gold and silver swords kept coming, and the fighting area was torn apart and collapsed piece by piece. At first, I could still block the demon god's shadow that was thousands of feet tall. After just a few breaths, I started to get a little confused. Holy Lord Hunshin, why don't you quickly kill this beast? Your huge Hunshin demon sect, with hundreds of thousands of people, can't even take down one little guy. The holy son of blue blood yelled. Everyone in the Hunshin demon sect was shouting curses in their hearts. How shameless! When this guy followed the wind just now, he didn't care about the feelings of the Hunshin demon sect. Now it's his turn to be beaten. He was so shameless that he asked the Hunshin demon sect for help. All the disciples of the Hunshin demon sect obeyed the order, and all the disciples above the Chi-Si realm attacked this person. The voice of Nai Fenjiun, the leader of the Hunshin demon sect, sounded. He was also aggrieved and angry at what the holy son of blue blood had just done. But, he had to take action, because if he didn't take action, after that guy killed the holy son of blue blood, he would definitely still be there. In turn, the sword will point at the entire Hunshin demon sect. And even if he lets go of the Hunshin demon sect, if the holy son of blue blood dies here, the jade blood demon sect will not let go of the Hunshin demon sect. Buzz buzz. Under Nai Fenjiun's order, thousands of Chi-Si realm domain barriers were activated. All kinds of physiques and bloodlines appeared densely around him. All kinds of magic weapons, and combat skills, all attacked Qin Chang Sheng. Including Nai Fenjiun himself, he once again mobilized the power of the mountain protecting formation and the power of his own body and blood to strike with all his strength. In an instant, the entire Hunshin demon sect and the sky with a radius of 100 miles, were filled with colorful Genkai light beams. The magnitude of the momentum and the spectacle of the scene are something no one has ever seen before in their lives. However, under such an all-round attack, Qin Changshen's expression remained unchanged, with a calm look, and he just slowly took out a sword. It was only then, that everyone suddenly discovered a sword, something extremely terrifying. From beginning to end, this guy seemed to have never used a weapon. He, who possesses the most powerful body in swordsmanship, took out his sword for the first time today. The second update has been sent, please customize it and ask for complete order and all data support, thank you all. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 158. After the innate sword domain hegemony is stimulated, the Dao domain turns into the sword domain. When you perform sword fighting skills in the sword domain, you can get the blessing of the entire sword domain, and the power is increased several times, or even dozens of times, than usual. This is also one of the main reasons why the innate sword domain hegemony is called the strongest hegemony in swordsmanship. But until Qin Changshen took out a long sword as black as ink, everyone suddenly realized that, this guy with the most powerful body in swordsmanship had never used a sword from beginning to end. Just casually playing the piano, he turned the Hunshin demon sect upside down. And now, facing the Hunshin demon sect's 1000 Qi realm, and the two unified realms of the Blue Blood Saint Sun and the Hunshin sect master joint attack, Qin Changshen finally used his sword, and waved the long black sword in his hand. Everyone around them felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. There were even many powerful people in the Qi realm who were so frightened that they gave up attacking and concentrated on preparing for defense and resistance. However, there is no raging sword energy, nor soaring sword intent. Everyone was stunned. What is going on? This sword should look like it was snatched from a sect called the Sword Demon Sect. It doesn't seem to be very easy to use. Please try another one. Qin Changshen's voice came, and then the long sword in his hand flashed and was replaced by a long sword that was as white as jade and exuded a dense light. Everyone was immediately stunned. We were almost scared to death. You actually came here? The two girls, Amoran and Luruyan, stood together at some point. Their beautiful eyes couldn't help but roll their eyes. This guy, he doesn't care about the people around him. Those people should take it seriously. Thousands of people are attacking overwhelmingly, and you are surrounded by 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. You actually still have the heart to try the sword? This sword seems pretty good, just use your blood and lives to sacrifice it and give it a try. Qin Changshen's voice sounded again. Then, the long sword as white as jade in his hand suddenly burst out with dazzling light, and a shocking sword energy rose into the sky. In an instant, thousands of people in the entire Hunshin demon sect were engaged in various battles. All the skills and techniques seemed to be eclipsed. In the whole world, there was only this one, shocking sword light. Buzzing. The sword light swept out. Wherever you go, the vision will last forever. Above the sword light, fairy palaces and pavilions emerged in the sky. Below the sword light, golden lotuses, all condensed from the great avenue, surged out on the ground. In front of the sword light, one after another, the phantoms of gods and demons seemed to be worshipping the sword light. Everyone was dumbfounded at this moment. What kind of swordsmanship is this? A sword seems to have cut off the rotation of time and space. It is blessed by the heavenly palace avenue above, and there are golden lotuses surging below to offer gifts. The sword blade passes by, and the gods and demons are in trouble. Bang 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 bang. Under the sword light, the domain barriers had no resistance at all and were directly exploded. No, it was not just the domain barrier that exploded, but also those Qi realm monks in the domain barrier. Their bodies also exploded into flesh and blood fireworks along with the domain barrier. In an instant, the entire Hunshan demon sect was filled with flesh and blood like wind, and bones like rain. Boom! There was another, more violent explosion sound. The Dao domain barrier of Nai Fenjiun, the leader of Hunshan sect, was also directly exploded by the sword light. Puff! 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 Nai Fenjiun looked horrified and wanted to say something. But he couldn't tell at all. Under the huge backlash, although his whole body did not explode, his internal organs had turned into a pile of minced meat, and then sprayed out from his mouth bite by bite. How could you, the 5th grade Xian level combat skill sword master Kangsheng? This is impossible. Finally, after all the internal organs were sprayed out, Nai Fenjiun finally expressed his doubts. But he will never know the answer. Qin Changshen wouldn't say, and he didn't have time to wait any longer. Because at this time, all his internal organs had been vomited out. Only the last remaining resentment kept him going until now. After he finished speaking, his body fell from the air. That's right, it's falling, not falling. Because now, all he has left is a light skin. The low-level disciples of the entire Hunshan demon sect who were still alive had completely stopped breathing at this time. Some are because they were so shocked that they forgot, some are because they were so frightened by the scene in front of them that they didn't dare to breathe. Thousands of powerful men in the Qi realm. The scene of the realm shattering and exploding under a single sword blow was really terrifying. Of course, the most frightening thing is that their sect leader Nai Fenjiun is a strong man in the third heaven of the Unity realm. Even under this sword, he was directly shocked to death. Moreover, after spitting out his internal organs in one mouthful, he gave up his life with reluctance. I don't know how many people's hair stood on end at this moment. This guy really deserves the name of the god of killing. Saint, how could he be so strong? At this time, Lu Ruyan was also shocked by the scene in front of her, and her little face turned pale, and she asked Mo Ran. Is this guy really the little follower that he snatched away yesterday? Time and time again, he has been treated like this today. Guy, I don't know how many times I've been shocked. From the beginning, I knew he was in the Unity realm, and later on his physique, bloodline, fighting against the sect master, etc. Every time, this guy seemed to have no limit. Not to mention this time. The leader of the Hunshan sect who tried his best died so tragically. I don't know either. Yesterday, for no apparent reason, I was robbed by him into a small world. The saints inside who had been robbed by him before said that he had just broken through to the Unity realm a few days ago. But his true strength is obviously not the first level of the Unity realm. When Mo Ran spoke, a pair of beautiful eyes stared at Qin Changshen, as if he wanted to see through him. Yesterday, he said that this guy was so bold that he actually wanted to rob Lu Ruyan in public. The new saint. And she also said that even if she breaks through, she will not help him. Now it's better. There is no need for anyone to help, and the Hunshan demon sect will be destroyed easily. Yes, it will be destroyed. Gone. Not even a Qi realm is gone. Is it possible for the Hunshan demon sect to exist in the future? And when Lu Ruyan heard what Mo Ran said, her mind went blank. Small world? The ones that she had snatched before? Holy girl! She just broke through to the Unity realm a few days ago. What is the origin of this stinky man and what has he done? What kind of person did he give his perfect body to? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 159. Mid-air. Nai Fenjiun, the leader of the Hunshan sect, is dead. But the battle is not over. Everyone has not forgotten the Holy Son of Blue Blood who called on everyone to take action. But when everyone looked at the Holy Son of Blue Blood, they couldn't help but curse in their hearts. This guy is so shameless. Just now he shouted for Master Hunchen and others to jointly deal with Qin Changsheng. But after Qin Changshen's shocking sword light appeared, this guy suddenly gave up. Then, he actually summoned the flying palace and fled towards the mountain gate. Before he saw it, he had already flown thousands of miles away. Qin Changsheng, I remember your name. I will wait for you at the Jade Blood Demon section, come if you dare. In the flying palace, the jade-blooded Holy Son said a few harsh words with a ferocious smile on his face. The speed of his flying palace was extremely fast, comparable to that of a monk on the 7th or 8th level of the Unity realm walking through the air. Just now he asked Nai Fenjiun to wait. The reason why people take action is to sacrifice themselves to the flying palace and be ready to escape at any time. Now that he has escaped so far, he feels that his plan has succeeded. I said, I will go to the Blue Blood Demon sect. But you can't see that day. Qin Changsheng showed no signs of panic and still spoke slowly. Just when talking, the long jade sword in Qin Changsheng's hand waved again. Everyone was still waiting to see what kind of shocking momentum this sword would create, but found that there seemed to be no movement from this sword. Everyone was speechless. Did this guy fool everyone again? After all, this guy has done this before. Just bluff, Qin Changsheng, you can even talk big words. In the flying palace, the Jade Blood Holy Son was also startled at first. After discovering that there was no sword energy, sword light, and no vision, he couldn't help but sneer. But, as soon as he finished speaking, his whole face changed. Big change. A breath of death instantly enveloped him. It was as if there was an invisible life-threatening sword already not far in front of him. Chi. A soft sound came from the chest of the Holy Son of Blue Blood. He stretched out his hand to cover his heart, and his face showed the ferocious look before death. Sword intent. The killing sword intention, you actually comprehended the killing sword intention. The voice was elegant and he said a few words. The Holy Son of Green Blood fell directly from the flying palace. Everyone is still in a state of confusion. What happened? How come this Holy Son of Green Blood came inexplicably? Say these two sentences and then die. Chi-chi. Chi-chi. It was only then that a space crack appeared in front of Qin Changsheng belatedly. Then it spread forward rapidly. Finally, the space crack appeared at the place where the Holy Son of Blue Blood had just stood. And on the heart of the Holy Son of Blue Blood, there was an undetectable wound, and blood slowly oozed out. Oh my God, how is this done? The sword intention should be the killing sword intention mentioned by the Holy Son of Blue Blood. According to legend, those who understand the meaning of the sword can use their thoughts to turn into sword energy to kill people. I also suddenly figured it out, the sword that just killed the god was the sword energy turned into thoughts. Because the speed was so fast, it was too late to tear the space apart, and the sword of thoughts had already passed. Therefore, we first saw the death of the Holy Son of Blue Blood, and then we saw the space cracks that slowly appeared. Oh my God, this legendary sword intent is too strong. How many magical skills does this god of death master? Sword intent, this is the art of swordsmanship that can only be understood by a natural swordsman, and it takes a lot of time to master. Isn't he only 19 years old? Have you already understood it? Now I finally understand why the sects in the Chaos Mountains trembled with fear when they heard the name Qin Changsheng. The methods of killing this god are really endless, making people unable to resist at all. There are many remaining disciples of the Hunchen demon sect who originally wanted to run away. After seeing the ending of the Holy Son of Blue Blood, their legs became weak. How could they dare to think of running away? Plop. Plop. Someone took the lead and knelt down, and then huffing and puffing, hundreds of thousands of Hunchen demon sect disciples all knelt on the ground, waiting for Qin Changsheng to say something. Stinky man, how could you be so strong? And how on earth did you kill the holy son of blue blood just now? Is it really the legendary sword intention? This thing is very difficult to understand. How did you master it? All the fighting has really come to an end now. Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran flew in front of Qin Changsheng. It was Lu Ruyan who asked. At this time, her pretty little face was filled with facial features. Twist together. My heart is full of big question marks. It's indeed sword intent. Is this something difficult to understand? I don't know how I figured it out. However, in the Unity realm, sword intention is of little use. Only when the opponent is unprepared can one kill with the sword of intention. Qin Changsheng explained very casually. The two girls, as well as the people below, were speechless. It's a mysterious door that others may not be able to pry into in their whole life. You don't know what's going on here. Understood? That killing sword intention, killing people thousands of miles away with just a thought. You actually said it was useless? You actually destroyed the Hunshan demon sect. Now, what are you going to do? Amo Ran spoke at the side. Although she knew a little more than Lu Ruyan, she was equally shocked. What should we do now? Of course it's to collect the loot. But you haven't experienced this yet, so I'll let them out. Qin Changsheng said, and with a wave of his hand, he sent out more than a dozen saints from Linglong Immortal Mansion. Young master, you are just so brave. Young master, I was in the Immortal Mansion just now, watching you killing everyone, and my little heart was beating hard. Do you want to touch it for me? Young master, it's time to collect the loot, right? I'm coming, I'm coming. A group of girls chatted and began to divide their work. The surviving low-level disciples of the Hunshan demon sect below, were in chaos again. How come there are so many beautiful girls? Someone just said that the god of death likes to plunder saints and sections. These beautiful women, all saints from other sects, were snatched away by him. How many sect holy lands has this guy stolen? The fourth update, please customize and complete the order and ask for all data support, thank you all. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 160. These are all the saints you robbed. Seeing Qin Changsheng beckoning and summoning a dozen saints, Lu Ruyan, like everyone below, was confused. Although she had just had a brief conversation with Amo Ran, she already knew that Qin Changsheng had a small world. Inside was the saintess he had snatched. But this was too much. Of course, Lu Ruyan and everyone had actually fallen into a misunderstanding. They all thought that Qin Changsheng had snatched so many things in the Eastern Barren continent. Much, but I never thought that Qin Changsheng came from the Eastern region. There are naturally some differences between the saints there and the saints of the Eastern Wilderness continent. I forgot one thing, I have to snatch you away first. When Qin Changsheng saw Lu Ruyan, he suddenly thought that he hadn't eaten the big experience pack yet, and said suddenly. While speaking, Qin Changsheng waved his hand, pulled Lu Ruyan into the Linglong Immortal Mansion, and then let him go. Come out. Everyone is even more confused. You and Lu Ruyan are already furious, so why do you want to snatch it away? Only those saints are used to this. I, the young master of the family, is really pursuing and obsessed with robbing the saint. Not a single step should be missed. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Master for successfully plundering Saint Lu Ruyan of the Hunshan demon section. The rewards are being calculated. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Lu Ruyan, the saint of the Hunshan demon sect, has reached the first level of the Unity realm. After 10 times the gain, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Lu Ruyan, the saint of the Hunshan demon sect, has an innate spirit returning hegemonic body. After 10 times the gain, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, Congratulations to the Holy Lord. Lu Ruyan, the saint of the Hunshan demon sect, has the bloodline of the 9th grade golden phoenix. After giving back 10 times, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Master. Lu Ruyan, the saint of the Hunshan demon sect, has the combat skills of the 9th level combat skill Piao Miao 9 Heavens Body Technique, Perfection, and the 1st level profound level combat skill Returning to Heaven and Immortality, Perfection, a 1st level Xian level combat skill, Resurrection on the Immortal Road, Peak level. After 10 times the gain, give back to the Holy Lord. Time and space freeze, and the system prompt message appears. Qin Changshen's body had undergone another radical change. Holy Master, Qin Changshen. Age, 19. Physique, innate sword domain dominant body, perfect. Bloodline, the bloodline of the 5-clawed golden dragon of the holy beast, rich. Realm, Unity Realm, 7th Heaven. Combat skill, the 3rd grade Xian level combat skill Dragon's Immortal Body Technique, Perfection. The 5th grade Xian level combat skill Sword Lord of the Sky, Perfection. The 6th grade Xian level combat skill Dragon's Roar Asks the Sky, Perfection. After taking a look at his latest attributes, Qin Changshen was quite satisfied. I have to say, this big experience package of the Unity Realm is really cool. After receiving 10 times the feedback from the realm, Qin Changshen ascended to the 4th heaven in a row and reached the 7th heaven of the Unity Realm. The physique has not changed much, but the bloodline has become the bloodline of the 5-clawed golden dragon of the holy beast. The green dragon and the 5-clawed golden dragon are both direct bloodlines of the dragon clan, but, among 100 green dragons, there may not be a 5-clawed golden dragon. Because if the dragon clan wants to give birth to the 5th claw, it is simply as difficult as climbing to the sky. Luck, opportunity, aptitude, understanding, etc., must be of the best to have a chance. If Qinglong is the born king of the dragon clan, then the 5-clawed golden dragon is the born emperor of the dragon clan. Stinky man, you, who the hell are you? How do I feel that I have been deceived by you? After Lu Ruyan was thrown around, he became even more confused. He shook his little head and asked Qin Changshen. Don't say that, I didn't lie to you. Yesterday, I came to rob the Hunshan demon section. Who would have thought that you would come out halfway and still want to rob me? I just followed your plan and snuck in after you. Qin Changshen said with an innocent look. Lu Ruyan blushed for a while. How did I know you were here to rob? Moreover, I was still in the Qi realm yesterday, and you are obviously in the Union realm, and you actually pretended to be bullied by me. In addition, yesterday, I was desperate yesterday, when I wanted to, that thing with you could obviously help me solve the problem, so, why didn't you reject me? It didn't matter if you didn't reject me, but you actually kidnapped Mo Ran, which made me feel ups and downs so many times. The more Lu Ruyan thought about it, the angrier she became. She had really lured a wolf into the house. And the person he brought in was a pervert. Even if he brought her in, her mood would go up and down several times because she was harmed by him. In fact, Lu Ruyan was ready to explode and die at any time once defeated. You are such a lively and beautiful woman, and you offer yourself, why should I refuse? Qin Changshen's words made Lu Ruyan speechless. The disciples of the Hunshan demon sect who were working as porters, were also looking at the sky speechlessly. How could there be such shameless people in this world? Humans. But we are so envious and jealous. The things that make Lu Ruyan collapse even more, are still to come. What? You are from the Gilded Realm. When asking Qin Changshen where those saints came from, Qin Changshen's answer made Lu Ruyan's beautiful face stiffen again. Yes, so fundamentally speaking, the two of us are really destined, and the fate is a bit complicated. Qin Changshen said with a bit of laughter and tears. he was already preparing for a showdown with Lu Ruyan. After all, he couldn't hide this matter even if he wanted to. Then which region are you from? Do you know about the Gilded Realm, the Red Lian demon sect? Lu Ruyan did not hear the hidden meaning of Qin Changshen's words and continued to ask. Qi Lian Mo sect, I know it all too well. In the Gilded Realm, the first person I robbed was the Qingyun Holy Land, and the second person I robbed was the Scarlet Lian demon section. Qin Changshen couldn't help laughing and said, You. Did you also rob the Scarlet Demon sect? Then, is the leader of the Kilian demon sect called Muruoxi? How is she? Lu Ruyan was anxious and angry, and even a little incoherent. She asked about the whereabouts of her disciple. Don't worry, she's fine, and she's already come to the eastern wilderness continent. There is also your disciple, the saint of the Red Lian demon sect, named Murong Fei. In fact, I also snatched her away, but she is in retreat now. You will see her later. Qin Changshen did not tell anything about what happened between him and Muruoxi. After all, the amount of information in it was too large and the relationship was too complicated. Qin Changshen had to give Lu Ruyan some time to accept it. But even so, Lu Ruyan's whole body was messy one after another. When the porters around him heard this, they were filled with envy, jealousy, hatred, shock, and confusion. This ruthless man was simply cruel to the point of breakthrough. Tianji. Not only Lu Ruyan's hometown was robbed, but also his disciples and grandchildren were robbed. This is to bring disaster to others, the rhythm of 3 generations of master and disciple. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 161. My disciple. After all, Lu Ruyan has been in the Eastern Barren Continent for many years, and she doesn't know concubine Murong. Moreover, in the Eastern Barren Continent, there are no years of cultivation. Among many major sects and holy places, Lu Ruyan is considered very young at this age. Otherwise she wouldn't be able to be a saint. So Lu Ruyan never thought much about it. Not only did she have an apprentice, she even accepted an apprentice. The most hateful thing is, she was robbed by this guy. Well, speaking of it, your disciple's personality is not very similar to yours, but your disciple Murong Fei's personality is exactly the same as yours. Qin Changshen looked at Lu Ruyan up and down and said sincerely. After advancing to the Unity Realm, Lu Ruyan looked even younger due to his physical condition, and he also liked to wear pink clothes and ponytails, making him look very handsome. A little Lolita. If she and Murong concubine were put together, I'm afraid many people would think of them as sisters, and Murong concubine is the elder sister and Lu Ruyan is the younger sister. Who would have thought that one is the master, one is a disciple? Dirty man, you piss me off so much. You and my disciple and grandson, can't be that or something. Lu Ruyan asked, her face as white as jade instantly turned red. After all, this matter was too exaggerated. Not yet. Qin Changshen waved his hand. But he added in his heart, your disciple has already suffered. Lu Ruyan breathed a sigh of relief when Qin Changshen said not yet. But after chewing carefully, Lu Ruyan discovered something was wrong again. Not yet? What do you mean not yet? It means there will be something in the future. This disgusting stinky man. Senior Sister Ruyan, you don't have to worry too much. I talked with those saints in the Immortal Mansion and learned that although this bad guy likes to plunder saints, he doesn't force anything. Moreover, those saints were obviously robbed, but they still spoke highly of this guy, saying how he treated everyone well and provided them with various cultivation resources to improve themselves and so on. Amoran walked over to the side and started to persuade Lu Ruyan. According to the order of becoming a saint, Lu Ruyan was actually the latter, but because Amoran was extremely talented and had only been practicing for more than 20 years, He had no respect for Lu Ruyan, also known as Senior Sister. And Lu Ruyan, a saint, did it in a short time. Everyone was robbed before they got used to it. Hearing Amoran's words, Lu Ruyan felt relieved. Phew. You heard me, my character is obvious to all. In addition, except Qingyun Holy Land and your Scarlet Demon section, most of the other sects were led by your good disciple to rob. Qin Changsheng said with a smile. Lu Ruyan was dumbfounded for a moment. But then he thought about it, this disciple really has his own style. He seems to like robbing too. For example, this stinky man was also attracted by him. He came here for robbery. He just pretended to be a pig to eat the tiger. And just now, when this guy said he wanted to rob the Hunshan Demon section, I was actually very excited. By the way, your disciple received a Taoist inheritance in the Immortal Mansion, which was given to her by my master. This shows how kind I am to you. Qin Changsheng added another sentence. Lu Ruyan and Amoran couldn't help but roll their eyes. Then, Lu Ruyan began to worry about the scene where his disciple would meet him after he came out of seclusion. What a ridiculous scene it will be when the time comes. Young master, the trophies of the Hunshan Demon sect have been collected. Half an hour later, Xiantian Saint Nalan Yoruo's voice came from the direction of the main peak of the Hunshan Demon sect. Qin Changsheng agreed, grabbed Lu Ruyan and Amoran's slender waists, and flew to the main peak of the Hunshan Demon sect. The two girls were instantly confused. Although Lu Ruyan and Qin Changsheng had done things like thunder and fire before, this was the first time for them to be so intimate. But Amoran was forcibly hugged by this guy and pulled into the Immortal Mansion. But that time it was force, this time, he actually forgot to resist. This scene, in the eyes of the hundreds of thousands of disciples of the Hunshan Demon sect, there was another burst of envy, jealousy, and hatred. Our two generations of saints from the Hunshan Demon sect are the two most beautiful women. How many people would never dare to blaspheme one of them? It would be better for this guy to have one on each side. On the main peak of the Hunshan Demon sect, there are densely packed heavenly materials and earthly treasures, spiritual stones and elixirs, martial arts and combat skills, etc., which are piled up into several hills. Young master, this is the loot list. Nalan Yoruo said and handed over a thick booklet. Gu Qingxiu also went into seclusion, so Nalan Yoruo took over the task of sorting the trophies. Qin Changsheng glanced at it and sighed in his heart. This sect with the Unity Realm is really different from other sects. The inventory of just one Hunshan Demon sect is actually more than the trophies of hundreds of sects in the Chaos Mountains combined. Want more? And, among the trophies of the Hunshan Demon sect, there are already top-grade Xian level combat skills, exercises, Suan Wei magic weapons, etc. Of course, these things are of no use to Qin Changsheng. He didn't practice at all. Instead, Qin Changsheng was very interested in the flying palace of the Holy Son of Blue Blood, and he incorporated it into the Zhangkong ring. Okay, just follow the old rules. Qin Changsheng waved his hand and said. He, thank you, sir. Young master, you are the best man in the world. Young master, I love you so much, my heart beats for you every day. When a dozen saints heard what Qin Changsheng said, they ran over excitedly and kissed Qin Changsheng. They were all led astray by that little rice grain. No, where is the millet grain? Qin Changsheng glanced at it, and he couldn't laugh or cry for a moment. He saw that little loli, at this time, she was plunged into the hill made of spiritual stones, and she was dancing with excitement. Old rules. Lu Ruyan and Amoran were a little confused when they saw that all the saints came over to kiss Qin Changsheng. What is this old rule? Could it be that after collecting the trophies, one of them kissed the bad guy? This is a celebration? The method is too cheap for this bad guy. Lu Ruyan is fine, after all, it's not that he has never been kissed. But Emoran is beside him, and his heart is a little confused. Should I do this old rule? Ouch, how embarrassing, I have never kissed a man. But if he doesn't obey me, this bad guy won't bully me even more. The thought of Qin Changsheng standing proudly in the sky and fighting against the entire Hunshan demon sect made Emoran feel a little trembling in his heart. Forget it. If they can do it, so can I. So in my heart, I comforted myself. Emoran followed the saints, and kissed Qin Changsheng. This time, Qin Changsheng was stunned, and Lu Ruyan was stunned. The hearts of the hundreds of thousands of disciples below who are in a daze are bleeding. This god of death is so happy. Those who kiss him one by one are all the most beautiful women in the world. Our saint Envy Emoran, a proud princess who has always been aloof, unexpectedly, kissed him too. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 162. You bad guy, you are too shameless. Didn't you say you don't force others to actually set such shameless rules? Seeing that all the saints and Emoran had kissed Qin Changsheng, Lu Ruyan couldn't help scolding him. What shameless rules? What rules have I set? Qin Changsheng said with an innocent look. Haha, the two sisters must have misunderstood. The old rule that the young master said is not that we kiss him, but that we are allowed to take whatever we want among these trophies for our own use. Yes, master didn't force us to do anything. We just felt it. No, we were led astray by that Xiaomi leader. She just ate and kissed her all day long. It made us so excited that we also wanted to kiss her. Nalan Yoruo and Du Lisa heard Lu Ruyan's words and opened their mouths to explain to Qin Changsheng. Ah! Why didn't you tell me earlier? Emoran's expression was dull for a moment, and then she saw two rosy clouds climbing up her cheeks. When they just kissed her, her face was already red, but it was just because of shyness. Now after hearing this, when I said that, I was shy and embarrassed, and turned red. This misunderstanding was a bit big. In everyone's astonishment, a group of saints began to randomly select among the trophies. You two, go over and take a look at the things you use, and take whatever you want. Qin Changsheng said to Lu Ruyan and Emoran. The two women were obviously still a little bit unable to accept such a simple and crude way of dividing the spoils. However, Du Lisa and other little witches came directly over and pulled them two over. Brother, we grabbed a lot of things this time. And there are some different spiritual stones. The little loli finally climbed out of the pile of spiritual stones, jumped into Qin Changsheng's arms, and gave a smack. Then, boom, boom. She started to take out the spirit stone in her hand and started eating it again. Qin Changsheng took a look and noticed something was wrong. This spirit stone turned out to be pure white and flawless, without a trace of impurities. The collection of the Hunshan demon sect actually contains top-quality spiritual stones. According to legend, something can only appear in the spiritual veins of 10,000 years. This top-quality spiritual stone can be worth 100 ordinary spiritual stones, and it is still priceless. Of course, to Qin Changsheng, these are nothing. If you want to eat, little loli, you can eat whatever you want. Oops, I seem to be about to advance. After just a few bites, Xiaomi Lier suddenly said something. The next moment, Daoyun flowers appeared one after another in the sky, and Dao golden lotus rose one by one on the ground. Along with bursts of Daoyun, the voice surrounded the little Lolita. Qin Changsheng was speechless. This little Lolita is really a monster. Now she has entered the Qi realm. You know, she really started to eat spiritual stones, but this was it. Only 2 days. At this speed, he is really catching up with himself. No, he has to succeed in cheating as soon as possible and rob her. Qin Changsheng thought so. Even he was shocked. Needless to say, there is no need to say more about the disciples of the Hunshan demon sect below. A natural phenomenon, then, that little girl, has advanced to the Qi realm. Oh my God, she is only 5 or 6 years old, and she is already in the Qi realm. How can we, who are in the Qi realm in our 50s and 60s, survive? What's even more terrifying is, she actually swallowed spiritual stones alive to practice. This group of monsters, where did they come from? I can't afford to provoke him, I can't afford to provoke him. I just hope that the god of death will not treat us as human beings and let us go. A group of people had been frightened to death by Qin Changsheng for a long time. Now that they saw that this little baby Xiaomi Lier had broken through to the Qi realm, they collapsed one by one and were at a loss. This group of robbers, it's all too scary. Even a little girl is like a monster. Not long after, the loot was collected. Qin Changsheng waved his hand, and the magnificent flying palace of the Holy Son of Blue Blood appeared in mid-air. Qin Changsheng took Lu Ruyan and Xiaomi Lier and stepped into it. Amid the tributes of hundreds of thousands of people below, he left the Hunshan demon section. As for Mo Ran, after experiencing the oolong incident of kissing Qin Changsheng, he did not dare to face Qin Changsheng at all, and was picked by several saints. With some trophies, I went to practice in Linglong Immortal Mansion. Although Qin Changsheng's combat power exceeded her imagination, she was proud at heart and did not give up. She still wanted to break through as soon as possible and catch up with Qin Changsheng. As for the other saints, seeing that Mo Ran, who has reached the perfect Qi realm, has worked so hard, they are even more motivated one by one, and they are all going to retreat. This makes Qin Changsheng very satisfied. I give you endless cultivation resources just for your cultivation. If you practice, I will gain tenfold. As Qin Changsheng and his party left, the disciples of the Hunshan demon sect below also dispersed in a rush. Even the Qi realm is gone, it is impossible for the Hunshan demon sect to continue to exist. Besides, even if they existed, they were scared to death by Qin Changsheng. They would never dare to call themselves disciples of the Hunshan demon sect again in this life. 2 hours later, the flying palace had flown countless thousands of miles. This speed is much faster than the bloody red Luan, which makes Qin Changsheng very satisfied. Moreover, the palace is quite large inside, with tables, chairs, white jade beds, practice rooms, etc. Apart from consuming spirit stones, you don't have to worry about it at all. You can do whatever you want in it. For example, just now, Qin Changsheng had nothing to do and was about to do something with Lu Ruyan, so he sent me Lier to the Immortal Mansion, and then isolated the Immortal Mansion. An hour later, Xiaomi Lier was released again come out. Those saintly sisters have all gone into seclusion to practice. She only eats there. It's so boring. Bang, bang. Well, outside, she has been eating, and since discovering the best spiritual stone, this little loli's appetite has become more complicated, and she said that eating this kind of spiritual stone is more comfortable. How comfortable is this? This is obviously because your qi is increasing faster. Bad guy, is it really okay to eat millet grains like this? Lu Ruyan looked at the millet grains, eating the spirit stones, and asked with some worry. What do you call me? Qin Changsheng pretended to be angry. You, young master, okay. Lu Ruyan shouted a few times angrily. This is only right, when you robbed me and asked me to call you miss, I didn't say anything. Qin Changsheng laughed. Lu Ruyan couldn't help but roll her eyes. You must know that you were pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. I should have made you call me auntie all day long. I think you need to clean up. Xiaomi Lier, I'll send you to the immortal mansion for an hour. Qin Changsheng said to little Lolita. Ah, going to stay in the immortal mansion for another hour? Didn't I just stay for an hour? Xiaomi Lier said with an aggrieved look. Don't, young master, uncle, I was wrong. Isn't that okay if I was wrong? As soon as Lu Ruyan heard Qin Changshen's words, she knew what he was going to do and immediately begged for mercy. But, does begging for mercy work? With a flash of inspiration, Xiaomi Lier was sent to the Linglong Immortal Mansion. Qin Changshen walked towards it with a smile. Lu Ruyan. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 163. An hour later. Xiaomi Lier was released holding a pile of spirit stones and pouting her little mouth. At this time, Qin Changshen was drinking tea leisurely, while Lu Ruyan was waiting on the side like an aggrieved little daughter-in-law. No, it's just the aggrieved little wife. This stinky man is so good at bullying. Didn't I just let you call me miss a few times? This stinky man actually let people call him daddy. Sister Ruyan, why is your face red again? The last time I came out, your face was red. Did your brother hit you? Xiaomi Lier glanced at Lu Ruyan and asked. No. No. Lu Ruyan said repeatedly, but her face turned even redder. But after thinking about it again, it seemed that because something was wrong, this guy just hit him, but he hit him somewhere else. After drinking a cup of tea, the weird atmosphere finally eased a lot. Smelly, young master, are we really going to the Jade Blood Demon sect next? Lu Ruyan asked. Qin Changshen's strength has indeed exceeded her limits and cognition time and time again. She really doesn't know what the situation is. But the Blue Blood Demon sect, she knows. The sect leader, he is a heaven-defying power in the 7th level of the Unity Realm, and one of the most powerful sects in this area. Is this guy going to rob the Blue Blood Demon sect in such an upright manner? That's right, haven't we all agreed with that holy son of blue blood? Qin Changsheng said slowly and leisurely. Lu Ruyan was speechless for a while. What he said was as if the holy son of blue blood was begging you to rob his house. All right. However, it is really not certain whether the Jade Blood Demon sect has a saint or not. It is said that the previous generation of saints has been turned into a cauldron by the green-blooded saint and died of suicide. No one in the next generation of saints has dared to do it. By the way, we will pass by a Xianming Holy Land on the way. After Lu Ruyan finished speaking, he suddenly felt something was wrong. What happened to him, that he even gave him advice? Haha, I'll just say it. You and your disciple, concubine Murong, are both born to be robbers. Qin Changsheng couldn't help but laugh. I think back then, concubine Murong was like this, planning various routes for herself. Oops, I just mentioned it casually. Moreover, I have already boarded your pirate ship. What can I do? Lu Ruyan pouted and said. But when she asked herself, she had to admit. She seemed to be really, a little excited. When Mo Ran and the others went to retreat to practice, she originally wanted to go. But she just wanted to see it. See how this bad guy robbed, so he stayed. Are there saints in Xianming Holy Land? Qin Changsheng asked. You, rogue, you are really only interested in robbing the saint. Lu Ruyan was speechless when he heard this. What this guy always cares about when he opens his mouth is whether there is a saint. Qin Changsheng glanced at her and then at Xiaomi Lier. Wrong, sir, uncle, I was wrong. There should be a saint, there should be a saint. Lu Ruyan quickly apologized and begged for mercy, fearing that this ruthless man would send the millet grains into the fairy mansion for an hour. That's pretty much it? If that's the case, then let's grab this Xianming Holy Land by the way. Qin Changsheng made a final decision. Of course he cares about whether there is a saint. After all, they are all experience packs. And in the Eastern Barren Continent, those who dare to call themselves holy places are definitely not small sects, and they also have experience packs. It should not be small. As for saying nothing, Qin Changsheng is not panicking. He is still waiting for an opportunity to solve the matter of millet grains. If there is a saint to rob, but if there is no saint, I will make a saint for you. Women want to grab it too. The flying palace flew for more than half an hour. Young master, ahead is Xianming Holy Land. Lu Ruyan stood at the railing in front of the palace and pointed to a mist-shrouded mountain. The excitement was exactly the same as that of concubine Murong every time she robbed someone. Qin Changsheng looked in the direction she pointed and found that the Xianming Holy Land was stronger than the Hunshan demon sect. The location of the mountain gate is actually an excellent place where 4 mountain ranges are connected end to end. Looking from a distance, spiritual clouds are blooming over the entire Xianming Holy Land. One can imagine how rich the aura inside it is. This place seems to be stronger than the Hunshan demon sect. Qin Changsheng said. That's natural. The closer the eastern wilderness continent is to the center, the more dangerous it becomes. The sect is getting stronger and stronger. The Holy Lord of Xianming Holy Land is a heaven-defying power at the 6th level of the Unity Realm. And it is said that among the other elders, there are 3 or 4 strong ones in the Unity Realm, ranging from the 1st to the 5th heaven. Lu Ruyan explained. On the one hand, he was introducing the Xianming Holy Land to Qin Changsheng. On the other hand, he was reminding Qin Changsheng of the strength of the Xianming Holy Land. The previous scenes of Qin Changsheng's fierce battles in all directions really shocked Lu Ruyan. Is still vivid in my mind. But for the strong men in the Unity Realm, the gap between each heaven is simply not too big. Nai Fenjian, the leader of the Hunshan sect, is only the 3rd heaven in the Unity Realm. He borrows the power of the mountain protecting formation to increase his combat power. At most, it can be comparable to the monks of the 4th heaven. And this Xianming Holy Lord is a real 6th level heaven of unity. And the mountain protecting formation of the Xianming Holy Land, how can it be just a decoration? Oh, that's all right. Qin Changsheng said calmly. When Lu Ruyan heard this, her beautiful eyes were full of anger. I have said so much, and you just said something nice? What is your strength? Can you explain it to me? I'm very panicked, okay. That, young master, what level of the Unity Realm are you at now? Finally, unable to hold it back any longer, Lu Ruyan asked. I haven't bothered with the realm thing, so who knows? Qin Changsheng waved his hand and said. Lu Ruyan almost carried it on his back and fell to the ground. You don't know your own realm. But how did she know? It's not that Qin Changsheng didn't know, but he couldn't tell. The speed of my advancement is really too fast. I change once after eating an experience pack. Can you imagine that I was still a little boy in the flesh and blood realm a few days ago? The realm I talked about today, may be already there tomorrow. No. It's better not to say anything. When someone advised you to practice before, you said you never practiced. Now I ask you about your realm, you gave me an unknown. Now I have serious doubts, where did your cultivation come from? It couldn't have been stolen from the saint. Lu Ruyan said angrily. Of course, she was joking. But Qin Changsheng couldn't help being surprised. Silly girl. With my level of cultivation, I really just want to rob the saint. Come on. Otherwise, why do you think I am so keen on robbing the saint?